Wayne Simmonds given permission to speak to teams ahead of free agency on Friday, which means he will not be in Buffalo. Steve, you made a really good point on Twitter, which is everybody forgot he was in Buffalo.
Yeah, man. Like, that's just Kevin Adams doing right by an NHL veteran. I mean, what are you hoarding? Where and like, if I'm Wayne Simmonds or Wayne Simmonds camp, I go, what are you going to trade my rights?
Yeah.
No, friggin' come on. Let me talk. Yep. So obviously he's going and talking, and this is, knowing full well that he could potentially go to a team within the division, but let him talk. Who cares? I wish more teams did, to be honest. Yeah. I know you don't want to help out the other teams in the league, but
at the same time, if it doesn't affect you all that much. Like, what they're going to sign somewhere else anyway, so what does it matter?
Also, and I feel like he was a genuinely special situation where it was Buffalo, and this was pre-Kevin Adams as well, so maybe that's part of it. Like, listen, I'm not even the guy who brought you here. You were brought here because the other GM was trying to save his job, and it was basically a gesture to Buffalo Sabres fans, like, look, we're at least trying, and then he got to play, 7 games, and the season got bust. So, yeah, he was Wayne. I'm surprised in the stories that I've seen, they were able to find a picture of him wearing a Sabres jersey. So,
and LeBron wrote, if it makes sense for the Leaf, it's under $2 million.
Something like that.
I would like that very much.
Yeah,
I would like.
And I think we have to be reasonable in our expectations about what Wayne Simmonds can do now, because it's got to be a much more limited role. But you have Wayne Simmonds to pack a punch in a small amount of time. He's not going to play 20 minutes. He's probably not going to fight as much, but he is going to bang and crash, and he'll probably play 60 games for you, right?
And he's also had an eternity to recover. Now, he hasn't played a hockey game since early March. It's
since
currently it's cold outside again. You know what I mean? That's the last time he played. It's cold outside again. So who knows? Who knows? And I also posted on Twitter, Adam. I posted 2 different players, a 35-year-old and a 32-year-old, both guys who, injuries, downward turn in their career. But one guy was younger and had more points during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
It was Wayne Simmonds. The other guy was Corey Perry. Wayne Simmonds outscored Corey Perry and is 3 years younger. And you go, well, Corey Perry in the playoffs. Well, Wayne Simmonds went to the freaking Sabres, so he never got the chance.
That's right. And I think you also have to take in consideration that New Jersey was awful, and so was Buffalo. So that I mean, what was it? Jake Believes had a really great tweet about this, and he said, hey, stats people. Now he's calling everyone out, but he did say, hey, I can't believe I still have to say this, but you guys thought GM George McPhee draft in Vegas was a bunch of washed up losers, and they ended up playing well together and being really good. Maybe take it easy on Wayne Simmonds' production in New Jersey and Buffalo. Now, is Wayne Simmonds the guy he was 5 years ago? No, but I think Jake made a good point there. This is a guy that even if he plays, like, it depends on the cost, obviously. But if you can get him for a couple years at $2 million a season, you do that.
Well, and it's something Dubas is willing to do, because did you see Myrtle's little mini bomb that no one seems to really be talking about?
Please talk about that a little bit.
Supposedly, Kyle Dubas offered his boy, man. He loves his guys. Supposedly, he offered Kyle Clifford 3 years at over $1 million, which is wild because it's well over $1 million term. And I believe it means the Leafs had to give up a second instead of a third to the Kings. What? So why won't he go out?
What's Kyle Clifford thinking?
Why did he say no? I know.
The next 2 years, the cap is flat. What's he think he's going to make?
There's probably a market for Kyle Clifford. I would assume, like, if he's turning that down, then his agent knows something, and that some other team is chomping at the bit to get Kyle Clifford on their team. He's probably going to make upwards of 2.5.
Yeah, and supposedly the deal's not dead, but like, man, if you're turning that down, you don't want to be a Leaf that bad. Come on. I'm not asking him to even throw the Leafs a bone. Like, you're on the fourth line.
I also find it concerning that they offered him that.
Well, so this is the thing. Everyone, Dubas didn't go out and blah, 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 blah. He's been chomping at the bit to go out and address size and toughness, so much so that he was willing to do this. And now these details are out there. I'm a little scared what he's going to do. I think there's going to be a little bit of an overcorrection. Listen, I think there's going to be a little bit of be careful what you wish for here, because the Leafs do need to address this. I think it's more important on the back end, to be honest. But it's not going to come cheap. I keep seeing people, I wouldn't give Radko Gudas. Well, then who would you?
Mm-hmm.
Who would you? Radko Gudas is one of the biggest psychopaths in the NHL when it comes to
and he's not bad. And he's not a bad player, even by analytics standards. You may have to overpay for this. The other thing I want to say, Steve, I want to add to that. Pat Maroon was on Good Show with JD Bunkus and Ben Ennis on Sportsnet 590.
Good clip.
Really good clip. And they talked about him being, he's been an undervalued free agent for a couple of years now, when he signed in St. Louis after Edmonton and when he signed in Tampa Bay after St. Louis. Mm-hmm. And he said, they asked him straight up, would Toronto be on the radar? And he certainly seemed to be warm to that.
He said, I think you're on to something.
Now, Pat Maroon's a perfect fit for what the Leafs need.
Big rig.
Fit. What's it cost? And you know what? You have to be somewhat okay with the fact that it's probably going to cost more than you think it should. Probably going to cost more than the models say it should, right?
That's how free agency works, though. Free agency is you pay what you get for, and you have to overpay for everyone in free agency because everyone's bidding, and the prices go higher when there's multiple teams on one guy.
Odds are you're not going to see a deal on October 9th or typically July 1st where you go, wow, what a bargain.
Right, that's not how it works.
That was the most sought after guy. You got to wait a week or two, or at least a few days. Oh, okay. Yeah. What a bargain. Big rig. I'm just looking at his numbers right now. So with the Lightning in 64 games, 9 goals, 14 assists, 23 points, shortened, just doing math in my head. That's around a 30-point pace, about a dozen goals. The year before with the Blues, 74 games, 10 goals, 28 points. So once again, around a 30-point pace for a huge guy with the playoff experience that he has. Depth guys who are pretty much money in the bank to get at least 30 points. That's a guy you pay at least $2 million.
Yeah.
Probably 2.5.
I was just going to say 2.5.
After back-to-back cups, he might get 3 with term. He might get 3 times 3. Mm-hmm. Leaf fans, would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to replace Andreas Johnsson with Patrick Maroon straight up, basically?
Yes. You already have what Andreas Johnsson brings. You got that in the Big Four. What you need is a guy that brings something else.
It's not working. This mix isn't working.
Exactly, which is
something
why
needs to be tweaked. Now again, that's a be careful what you wish for.
2.5 is what I've said. 2.5 is what I'd go.
Cool, because
Pat Maroon.
The Leafs get Patrick Maroon, and I go yes, and then they go 3 times 3, and I go. Ooh,
but does that hurt you that much? I don't think it hurts you that much. $500,000. Like honestly, for a guy that can play for you for 3 years and you get come on, like $500,000. It's not crazy.
If it doesn't work, then you need to make much larger moves. Right. Yeah. So we're talking a couple of years from now.
And why wouldn't you do a hardcore bonus on a guy like that so you can move him? If it doesn't work, you've paid him all the money up front anyway. And then you go, okay, Arizona next year, here's a guy that'll get you to the floor. Okay, right. Ottawa, here's a guy that'll get you to the floor. Like the Leafs can do this. So any free agent that you sign, first off, if you give them those bonuses up front, the average per season comes down for you. Because they're probably wanting to get most of that money in a lump sum because then they could give it to an investor puts it out there, that sort of thing. And we already know personally what that money will do for you if you get most of it up front. So you've already got that going for you as a richer club in the NHL. The other thing is when you look at, you say it's a 3-year deal, you look at years 2 and 3, if you only owe the guy league minimum, you can trade him anywhere.